Hey,
Hey.
it says we're about to go live. I thought we were already live, although some people might look at us and go, they look a bit dead there.
A bit animated for dead people.
Well, you know, dead in the sense of they don't look very polished. I don't know what this has got to do with Permission to Celebrate, but we watched this beautiful movie. What was it called? Take This Waltz.
Oh, yes.
And for some reason, I'm just thinking of the shower scene where all the ladies are in their showers.
Hmm.
And it just brings me back to that thing about, I don't know, I guess it is what we think we want. I don't know what this has got to do with Permission to Celebrate.
Yeah.
But, you know, that sense that what we see on TV and what we see in the movies and what we see out there, it is not real life. And then, you know, it's the same with when we see you know, some naked bodies on the television. If they look like normal people, they haven't been airbrushed and shortened and lengthened, and it's shocking. It's like, oh, that's what the human form looks like, because you're so used to seeing it manipulated and tidied up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, the movie is fabulous, and it is all about relationships. But it just makes me think about that whole thing, Permission to Celebrate. You know, that sense that we're always going for something that's unattainable. We're always looking at things that are a benchmark that are not real. Like,
Yeah.
and today's Permission to Celebrate. You don't even have to wait for a benchmark or an ideal. You can just celebrate anyway. It's going to get some poppers. Hey, popper. Have a party.
There probably are some downstairs somewhere.
Mel has everything downstairs.
Somewhere in
Boxes and boxes of everything.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think what they were talking about when they were in the shower. I think something about.
I think they were talking about relationships and shiny bright things.
But
shiny bright things become the old things.
that sense that, you know, the comfort and space-filling relationship becomes not enough because you take that for granted, and then you start to look for the, like you say, the shiny, exciting thing that isn't in that relationship. But the thing is that shiny, exciting thing that is the new relationship doesn't have the comfort and space filling of the old one that you've taken for granted. So you have to trade in one for the other. And then eventually that shiny and exciting will become old because it will be the thing that you do every day.
It'll be comfortable and it'll fill your space.
I don't think it will.
Fill this space.
I don't think it will. I think that's the point. I think the space is never filled. I think that's that sense of always wanting, that sense of always looking, that sense of feeling unfulfilled is the fact that it's not. It will never be both things. And they will always, I mean, that the conversation they were having was that they will always be, you know, it will get old. The new thing will get old. But it was also that sense that if you're in the comfortable space-filling thing and there's no excitement, if you go for the excitement, then you won't have the comfortable space-filling thing. It's like this, you know, this trade-off. And I guess that's the conversation that people have about relationships, is that can you have everything?
Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Here today, live, we're going to tell you whether you can have everything or not. Melanie Rockwell, can you have everything?
I think it's ridiculous to expect it from one person. I think it's unrealistic and it's got nothing to do with the relationship. I think it's got to do with your expectations.
This is the Permission to Celebrate show. Can you have everything?
That's not what I said.
You know, but that's what I'm asking. So can you have everything? Everything you want?
You've already got everything you want. Otherwise it wouldn't be there.
I think this is going to need a little bit of explanation. Because I know you're all sitting out there going, what do you mean everything I want? He doesn't look like this, and my pay doesn't look like this, and my colleagues don't look like this, and my waist doesn't look like this, and my I don't know, you know, whatever else it is that,
Children.
that you're going for.
Yeah. Well, it's obviously not what you want. You want to be able to complain about it, or you want to be able to think that it needs to be improved, or you want to be able to think that it makes you unique, or you want to be able to share that experience with other people because that's what other people are saying about their lives. There's something about it that is exactly what you want.
And what's that got to do with having celebrating, being able to celebrate?
Well, if you can take responsibility for that, then you know that it's
What is
a
it
part
you
of who you
celebrate?
are.
What is it we're celebrating here, people? If we can't
Everything.
celebrate having everything, what are we celebrating?
But you can. That's the point. You do have everything. You celebrate having everything. You take responsibility for the fact that you do have everything, that you set this stuff up. Yeah, that you set this stuff up.
So it just makes me go, like, how is this different to, you know, I just feel like there's a lot of people out there who've done a lot of new agey kind of philosophies or whatever, and then a lot of them people just feel like there's a lot of blaming. You know, well, if you didn't get it, it's because you didn't do it right, or you know, you didn't solve your illness, it's because you didn't figure out the, you know, unpick the whole thing of it. Like, how is this not just another making a person wrong thing?
I don't understand. We didn't say anything about you. You're saying you did get it. You're saying you have got it.
I just feel like there's still a lot of people out there going, I still want the thing. I want the thing.
Because you want to be able to want it. It's the wanting to want it that you actually want. It's not the thing. Somewhere the wanting the thing is keeping you safe, giving you a sense of belonging and a meaningful life. Somewhere the wanting the thing is keeping you connected to other people. Somewhere wanting the thing is giving you a sense of your uniqueness. Somewhere wanting the thing is motivating you to get up the next day. Somewhere wanting the thing is part of how you make sense of the world, is part of the rules that have been put in place, probably to make sense of what was happening when you were very little. You know, that people around you behaved in a particular way, and so in order to make sense of that, you set up a series of rules about how the world works, and your perceptual and cognitive and cultural biases have kept them in place so that you can have some sense of continuity and you know, that sense of self-awareness that I am a fixed thing. That's where that sense of safety comes from, is that I am a fixed thing in a fixed world. And the rules work like this. Even if the rules end up being, you know, I am always unsafe and the world is uncertain and nothing works for me, or I will never have a satisfying relationship, or I will never have money, whatever the rules are that have set you up in that fixed space in a fixed reality, are keeping you safe because at least you know how it works. And you will continue to want the thing that you want. And that will be you getting what you want. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm just getting that sense that, you know, we're looking in the wrong place. We're not looking in the wrong place, but a lot of our meaning making, it just feels like we're messing around on the outside of it rather than going to the inside.
There's no outside or inside. What do you mean? What do you mean?
I just mean, you know, a lot of the time we're looking at trying to fix the level of money in our bank or the person in our life, in our bed, or whatever it is, the thing that we're trying to fix out there. But really it is, you know, when you say it like that, it just feels like it's the addiction to that sensation of wanting, or that addiction to that.
It's not an addiction. It's what keeps you safe. It's the thing that's your reality. It's the things that are serving you. They're not bad things.
So how is it different to looking at it as an addiction to a pattern, you know, to an addiction to getting something that you want? Because I still feel like we're all in this loop of thinking that if we get the thing we want, if life just got better, if the consciousness of the planet just evolved, if, you know, my mother-in-law just didn't grind her teeth like that, or whatever the thing is, you know, like if just that thing could change, I would be able to celebrate my life. I would be satisfied with my life.
Yeah. And what's the question?
I'm not sure, and I feel like whatever the process is that I'm going into now, it's the process we all go into to try and get out of our misery. Like it's trying to work it out, but we're trying to work it out on some level that is, I mean, that's what I was saying outside or inside, but
there is no misery to get out of. Misery is your loudest point. Misery is your conversation with the cosmos. The misery is that experience to allow that gives you access to self-awareness so that you can see that the wanting of the thing is what you want.
And I don't think anyone heard that. I feel like they're all just going, whoa, whoa, hang back. Now, I know you said you weren't going to change anything, and I know you didn't promise us anything, but now you're saying you're not even going to get us out of our misery. It's like, hang on, I've been looking for the bit where this is going to, you know, where I'm going to get better, where the world's going to get better, where life's going to get better, where the circumstances. I don't know, it just feels like people are still very attached to the idea that something's going to get better. Are you sure? Are you like, no, come on, we must be going to make something better. You can't tell them you're just going to sit in this forever.
What's this? You can't sit in anything forever. Everything changes in every second. What are you sitting in?
The thing you've been trying to fix.
Yeah, well, if that's serving you, you will perpetuate that. And if you have self-awareness that that's perpetuated because it's serving you, then you can take responsibility and celebrate that it's getting you exactly what you want.
So for the people who are coming, it feels like halfway. It feels like there's some people going, what?
Yeah.
And I guess we've themed the shows for the last 8 weeks based on the course. And this is part of the course.
The experience.
But the course isn't like a normal course because it's an experience.
Mm.
And in that sense, it's not a linear thing.
Yeah.
It's not like you start with week 1, then you build on the ideas and da-da-da-da-da. There's there's a sense of fractals and the thing that you get from it.
Mm.
It's not like there's a thing to get from it either. Like it's not like there's a, in as much as there are concepts and there are ideas, it feels like you will have the experience that you're meant to have.
And that is true everywhere.
And that is true everywhere. And if that's even confused you more.
Yeah, but I think people, I guess, if you want to start somewhere, it is about investigating what are perceptual biases. And don't listen to me. Go and Google it. Like it's a very accessible piece of information. And there's lots of people who are willing to explain it to you and break it down and give you I think there are at least 12 basic perceptual cognitive biases. That gives you a point.
Can you just give us a quick example of some of them?
Well, they keep your rules in place. So when you listen to the radio and someone starts talking about a topic that you have an opinion on and they start talking about it, even if it's a scientific study and you're a scientific person, you will say, oh, they mustn't have done it scientifically. And if you're a non-scientific person and they're having a non-scientific study and they're saying something that you don't agree with, then you will say, oh, they're just from some other wing of politics and they're trying to manipulate the world. And, you know, you make up a story about where these people's motivations are for the information that you're getting.
your perceptual biases will keep in place the opinions that you have. And that's their job. You know, they're these amazing soldiers that are making sure that everything that you believe about the world is being kept in place, and they will defend you till the end, even if it means you get beaten up or put in jail or jump off a cliff. They will defend you to the end. They don't have any other concept of what it means to keep you safe, give you a sense of belonging and a meaningful life. So if you want to start anywhere about that self-awareness process and what it means to want the thing you want is getting what you want, start with perceptual biases.
And so then it does come back to the story. Like in some ways, I think what I was trying to get at before was that sense of, you know, we're always looking to change out there or change ourselves or change the way we think. And even when I say that, it still doesn't make sense because then I'm going, but really where we need to be looking at, not changing anything, but looking at the story. Looking at the story that is and how it serves us.
I just think it's about, the first thing is about self-awareness. So before you start making up rules about where you're meant to change or not change or any of that stuff, the first thing is about self-awareness. Without any of that, what do I need to do differently? It is, so how am I taking this information in? How am I making assessments about my reality? How am I looking at other people and putting them in my existence? You know, and all of that stuff will come, you know, will become visible with some of the experiments, I guess they are, in the perfect present. So that loudest point experiment is one of the, I guess, you know, one of the most useful self-awareness experiments that I've ever been able to explain. You know, if it's it's automatic for me. So it's sometimes finding a way to describe how someone else can do it is, you know, it takes a few times because there's a sense that you have to come up with different stories for different people because everyone's going to hear what they need to hear.
And I think one of the things that comes up very loudly for me then is that sense that there's a lot of space around it when you are going to the loudest point. Like when we talk about self-awareness, people often think that means going, oh, my behaviour's like this because of that and because of that perceptual bias and because my mother acted like this and because, you know, like there seems to be a lot of story making around the story. Like the static seems to be quite thick. And we spend a lot of time rolling around in static trying to work out how to unravel things and how to, I don't know, you know, push the right button in ourselves that is going to change the thing outside. And then it just seems like when you're thinking about the loudest point, I mean, it may be about one of those things, but it feels like there's less of that noise and more of an experience.
Because those things are not taking you into another story. So in the loudest point, if a story comes up, the story sits in its own energy, and
there's a sense of not having to figure out the why or the how or know the meaning of it.
Yeah, no. So yeah, so
you don't have to make sense of it.
You just need, have to have an awareness. Yeah, you just have to have an awareness of it. And then if you get to the point where you want to understand or feel how it fits in that, how it makes me feel safe, gives me a sense of belonging and a meaningful life, then there are other experiments in the perfect present that, you know, can take you, because there's a sense that all of that psychopathology, spiritual self-help, self-analysis process, you know, takes that story and concretes it in, makes it more real and makes it responsible. And then somehow you've got a sense of how you are a victim, there's someone to blame, or you are a perpetrator and there's something to fix, you know, and there's something to clear because of a past life. Like all of those things anchor it in a pathological way, whereas the experiments in the perfect present don't anchor anything in a pathological way. So you won't ever get to a point where you go, all right, now I get where I got, you know, screwed over, or now I get where I made the wrong decision, or now I get where I'm carrying an old pattern, or now I get, you know, there's none of that going on. There won't ever be a point that you get to and then you go, now I know what I need to change. Like there is that self-awareness always comes back to the same explanation.
And so I just get a sense that people have been doing the processes and going through the course and still coming back to a point of going, you know, I've got this feeling, I've got this sense of what's going on for me right at the loudest point. And then they may have gone, how does this serve me? But they're still doing it with that, with a kind of a motivation to change it. Like they're still going in there and going, how does this serve me? Because I want it to be different. Like, what is the difference between going, I'm taking full responsibility, I'm embodying this experience, I'm being with it. I mean, I don't know, and still processing it in the sense of going, how does it serve me? And it still feels like you're doing some kind of processing, self-analysis processing or whatever.
So when do you ask the question?
Well, it just feels like when you can't make any sense of what's going on, when it feels...
And you can't be with.
You can't be with the emotion. Like the emotion has become overriding noise, you know, like it's the loudest point for sure, but it just feels like, it's like, what the hell is going on here? I don't get it. There's a sense of, a lot of people will come back to those experiments and those, you know, those questions like, how does this serve me? As a, oh God, I've got to change this. I do have to change this right now because I've got to see it differently. I've got to get into the different cosmology. Like they are, and this is the thing, where they're on a journey, they want to be in the different cosmology, you know, like, and they're frustrated because they can't get out of duality and they can't see it from some new place that's going to be the key to fixing the problem.
Thank goodness for that.
But I just get a sense of, you know, people want to know how they can stay in the cosmology. They want to know what's the difference between this and other things. Like, because for them at the moment, it looks like it's a journey from here to there. They're trying to go from being in one place to a place where they sit in a new cosmology. And at the moment, it still looks like it's a journey for them. It still looks like they're trying to get this resolved. It still looks like they're trying to find a solution to the problem,
and so then
which looks like this cosmology. Like, and I can't explain it any other way.
Yeah, but then
it will sound like, to some of you, it will be totally like, this is a duality thing. We're going from here to there.
And you're not. And it is asking all those questions. Well, if there is no solution, then what's actually going on? And if there is no journey, then what am I actually doing? It is just those self-awareness, and it's not to get an answer. It's just to surrender to that sense of, it is all about this moment. My loudest point is my conversation with the cosmos. My self-awareness, you know, is the one thing that the universe is constantly calling me back to. And it's not a test. Like, it's not saying if you don't do it, then I will punish you with even more louder points. It is just saying the loudest point is an invitation. It's not.
And that conversation with the cosmos, though, it's not to get an answer as well.
The conversation with your cosmos is every second you are conscious. It's not something you do when you think you're in conversation with something. Your conversation with the cosmos is your life. Your life is a conversation with the cosmos.
So like people out there are going, I know that I've been having a bloody conversation with that thing forever. And the frustration, like I feel like there's something about their frustration in that, is because they're always trying to find the answer. It's because they think that there's some place to get to where they know what's going on and they'll be able to understand the whole thing. Like, feels like a lot of that frustration is because they're using the self-awareness to try and find it's not just the solution, it's find the understanding of the why. Why is this so, Professor? Why?
Why what?
Well, why does this go like that and this, and why am I in the pattern, and why,
There's
X
no
equal Y equals Z.
But there's no pattern.
But I just get that sense of people see it as they're trying to find the answer to why X equals Y equals Z.
There is no X equals
The
Y
cause and
equals Z.
effect,
There is
like
no
why
cause and
this
effect.
causes that, or how this
doesn't.
causes that, or
And it doesn't.
I think just to talk about that a little bit more, because I think
But
You
we're
know,
in
the-
week 7.
the mechanistic paradigm is
Yeah.
that sense that something, the cog will turn, this cog will turn, and that will come out the other end like a sausage. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it feels like that, it is the linear mechanistic universe, cause and
Duality.
effect. I don't know,
Yeah.
so many of us have done those courses, I'm sure, where it's like you're doing your elevator pitch and what is it? I do X for Y to get Z, or, like
I help. Yeah.
Yeah, I would help X
Do Y
do
so
Y
they can have Z.
Z. Like, it's like,
Which is hilarious because every time we do those things, I just go, well, we don't have a market. They're going to be just people who feel pulled and they don't even know why. We don't help them do anything. so we can't even come up with any of these statements because they just don't apply. If you're not, they only work if you're in duality. Like, none of that works if you don't have a sense of cause and effect. None of those things apply, which is fabulous. It's like when people say, who are you? The only thing that comes into my head is I am. I don't have another answer. And it's the same thing when Louise and I are talking about, what is it that we're doing? We're not helping or teaching. I'm just saying we're being present. I'm just doing my job. I'm just being present. If it looks like something else to someone else, that's their story, not mine. That all of that stuff doesn't work. And that's the beauty of the simplicity of this. It's kind of like
and I would love
attaching yourself to some great ism, like Buddhism or Confucianism or Zen or something, but it's not. It's not having any of those rules. It's not having any of those preconceptions about what will happen or what you're trying to escape or how the suffering will end or, never end. It's got nothing to do with that. It's a way of interpreting reality where none of that is necessary, where all of that is a choice, where all of that is something you put in place because it keeps you safe, gives you a meaningful life, gives you a sense of belonging, and you can explain everybody else's reality in the same way. So you don't have to have any enemies, you don't have to have any problems, you don't have to have, any of that stuff that you don't have to be a victim, you don't have to keep all the balls in the air, you don't have to look a particular way, and it all just simplifies back into what's happening right now. What am I tuned to? What's happening in my conversation with the cosmos? What's my loudest point?
I'd still just love to take it back to the sense of loudest point, like even the fact what you said about, I don't know, it just made me think of that sense that for most people watching, looking in, they'll be going, oh, she's the teacher, she's asking questions. I don't know, they'll have a particular bias to what they're seeing, you know? Like some people go, I want to bow down to her, she's the guru. Some people go, I want to take her out, she's the charlatan.
But you can't,
But I'm just saying, because from your place, from the place where you stand all the time, I don't know, something about the responsibility around where you stand, no matter what other people are perceiving it as.
I can't take responsibility for their perception. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and because me and Mel have spent a lot of time talking about language, and where I keep using the language of duality, you know, like I keep going, I'm on a journey, I keep going, it'll look a certain way, you know, like I keep going, it's been a certain way for me, it's been a journey. I will always talk about it as if I was going from somewhere to somewhere else and there was a transformation. Like, I don't know, and every time I say that, there's a sense that, yeah, okay, but I can't talk about it like that. Like I want, you know, it's not how it is. And I don't know, because there's a thing, it's not taking it's letting me have my truth. It's going, that's your story. Yeah, that's
in place for a reason.
That's what works for you. Yeah. But at the same time, I need to be in my story.
What do you mean?
Well, I just mean I don't know, for the people out there, I feel like they're struggling to take, because I just go, it is that sense of, no, hang on, I've been on a journey. And I was in duality. I'm in duality. I'm trying to get to this place where I live in a different cosmology. And for the people out there right now, it's like, this is going to be a transformation for me. I'm moving through something. I have to work it. You know, I have to work it out.
It will be that until it's not. I'm not sure. If it's that, then it's duality, and it's just about self-awareness and self-acceptance in duality. I don't think it's not about converting people to something because it's better. If that's what it is, then that's what it is, and it's that for a reason. I mean, I don't think it's about telling people there's something that they need to do differently. I just think it's, if you've come to this experience and the descriptions of the experiments and the concepts and the cosmology light up for you, then you will explore it for as much as you need to. There's no sense that it will change you. I mean the thing about the cosmology of heart alchemy or oneness or whatever you want to call it, non-duality, is you are a living master. We are interconnected. There is only energy. Life is a conversation with the cosmos. Those things, when you come into the perfect present, are laid out as already true. You don't have to pass any test or do anything in order to enact them, activate them, manifest them, draw them closer, whatever, clear the path of all the things that are keeping obstacles. None of that exists. So that the space is being held for you to have that experience. But if you don't have that experience, if none of that is true for you, if you come back again to the story that you're telling, and even in the self-awareness of how it keeps you safe and gives you a sense of belonging and a meaningful life, still continue to hold on to it. No one's going to turn around and say, oh, you failed because you didn't see that it was being held for you. Like, no one's going to say, you'll get there eventually, because just having that experience, whatever the experience was that you had, was exactly what you needed to do. And it's not like the 8 weeks can be clumped into one thing. Every second that you're alive is that experience. So there's no expectation. It's not like someone's there saying, you have to let go of the journey, or you have to. It's not my job. That's not part of being present, making sure that you do something. Like, if you're sovereign, you make your own decisions and you live in your own reality, there's no way for me to come in and say, I can see that it would be better, because it's not true. I can see that it's working for you. I can see that you're a living master. I can see that you can't see it. There's no assessment in any of that. There's no sense of I'm waiting for people to understand it. I'm doing what I'm doing and you're doing what you're doing.
you know, and all of those things remain true for me. All of those things about we are all doing the best we can with what we have, and we are all motivated by the desire to feel love. None of that will change, you know, regardless of anyone else's behaviour. I don't think it's about making sure people who sign up end up in a particular place. It's because that's exchange and duality and outcomes, and none of that is relevant.
What? You mean I'm never going to be a poster girl for the perfect present? Damn.
I don't know. How can I know that?
Well, it's just, I don't know, it's just what came up, that sense that, you know, we think celebration is being the poster girl or being the epitome of, or that there's some pinnacle to go for, you know, like that there's some ultimate thing we're all heading for, whether it's enlightenment or, you know, I don't know, whatever the thing is, you know, like it can be anything. The successful working mom, the super mom, you know, like, but it feels like there's some poster child we're all going for in the sense that when we're on that journey.
I think that's permission though. I mean, I think people are going for permission. That's like, even in all of those things, you know, the super mom and what was the other one?
Well, you know, just the executive. I don't know, even the gangster rapper, you know, they're going for being the, I don't know, edgy artist kid or whatever it is, you know, like
But that's
it feels
all about,
like people have got this kind of poster girl. I think this is where I was coming from right at the beginning, talking about the ideal body, the ideal looks that we've got planted in our head of this fantasy, because it's not built in any kind of reality, but we think we're going to get somewhere one day where we're the poster child of whatever it is, you know. And, you know, it's, I don't know. I just go, you know, working with the kids at school, that normal, you know, if I could be normal, I'd
do you think that if you said to people, maybe this is a question we need to ask in the interviews, if you said to people, we can give you one of two things. One of them would be to be completely comfortable in your own skin 24/7 and never have a doubt about who you are, or we can give you the one thing that you're going for at the moment. Which one do you reckon they go for?
I think they do exactly what I'm doing now. They think about it like it's a trick question. Even though they want to say comfortable in my own skin, they'd be like, oh, it's a trick question. You know, like if I don't get, they would feel like they're having a test, that it's a test. They would feel like if I don't get the answer to this right, I'm not going to get the happy ever after.
Yeah, but what do you want? Like, you know, for that sense in
Of course you want to feel comfortable in your own skin.
Yeah, but do you? Or do you just want to get the thing you're going for at the moment? Like if I said to you, you can be comfortable in your own skin 24/7 no matter what is going on. Or you can have Will.i.am's life.
Will.i.am's life. Ooh, no, he's got that.
Yeah, but that's what you want. That
he's got that.
Your dream is to have that.
But I don't think that's the thing. I don't think it's.
So the one thing that you're going for,
but
is to have all the things
that's
that
what I go. It's because it's not even about what he. I mean, you are somewhere picking a role model or whatever, picking someone you admire, and holding yourself up against it. But somewhere else, you know, that's not the truth of what you're going for. Like, even if you held up the criteria you're going for against what he's got, it's not the same. Like somewhere, anywhere in the self-analysis, you just start confusing yourself.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I go, I just go, we're all trying to pick it apart from the wrong place. And even in saying that, most of us are still trying to pick it apart. And I think it comes back to that thing about celebration. What is that? What is that even? Because we spend a lot of time trying to mess with reality, you know, trying to mess with our own reality, trying to fix it or unravel it or clear it or whatever the thing is. And a lot of time, even the ideals we're holding up, or, you know, even that sense of, you know, every course, every ideology I've done or whatever, every modality I've tried to learn, what they're, you know, what every single person in that room, whether it's Vipassana or whatever they're going for, they're all going for something different. And they never get there to the ideal place they think they're meant to get. And they spend the whole time berating themselves, trying to get to some imaginary place that they don't even really know what it is. Like there's that sense that we don't even really know what we want. And we set up this very confusing, complex array of ways of trying to figure it out and trying to know how to get there and trying to trouble solve and try to problem shoot it. And every time we say self-awareness, we go into this tricky, it just feels like we go into this tricky minefield of getting ourselves, as you said before, more anchored in it, like where we think we're unraveling from it. And I don't mean unraveling to fix it, I just mean we think we're doing something different, but it turns out we're still in the duality, you know, we're still making it right and wrong, we're still blaming something, we're still wanting something better, we're still thinking if we're in the flow, it'll be all right. It just feels like that. The way the story is anchored in, the way we look at the story is the anchor.
But and I think that's the thing about heart alchemy is you go, okay, and my self-awareness is that is occurring. Full stop. Like, you know, like that sense of that I can say all those things out loud and go, and that's what I'm doing. And stop.
Oh, there's a lot of space.
Yeah. That's self-awareness. You know, all of these things are going on and blah, 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 and it looks like this. And it is to be careful about whether you're making I am statements and I do and whatever versus I feel and it looks like. And then that sense of, and I can see that that's what I'm doing, full stop. Not because blah, 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 and not, and I'm in the future, I will, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so, and if those stories come up, it's like, oh, here I am, I'm going to let this self-awareness become visible. Here is another explanation story because, and allow that because, but you allow that because not as a defining experience, but as a self-awareness. Here I am telling the story. Because it's important, it's not to diminish the story. It's not to say, you know, it's a fairy tale or whatever. It's important to see the story as relevant, but not in that way where we're going, and this explains my life. This is the end of the explanation that tells me exactly what's going on in the world. This is just the beginning of your self-awareness. So those stories become visible and you allow them to, you know, sit in front of you as self-awareness. Like there's no, I need to put it over here, or I need to stop feeling about it, or, you know, I need to tell it in a more positive light. Like there's none of that necessary. There is just that sense of, oh, look, here is the story that's coming up in this situation. And then when I become you know, when my focus is on self-awareness, there is another story that comes up. Because the stories that are coming up, when you're asking the question, oh, look, you know, I'm going to be self-aware about this, and then another story comes up. It's coming up so that you can pay attention. It's not coming up to distract you. So the next story comes up and you go, oh, look, okay, here's another story. Let's pay attention to this story. And as you pay attention to that story, perhaps another story will become visible. And then you pay attention to that story. And there is a sense that just that allowing, that self-awareness of allowing, is just a very different way to operate
with those stories in place, because normally the stories would come up and you would give them all of this power and let them explain who you are and diminish who you are and blame, shame and control the universe. But in that sense of self-awareness, the stories will come up and you can go, oh look, here is a sacred story that I can pay attention to, and this is part of my self-awareness. And even if the stories are the feelings of jealousy or the feelings of frustration or the feelings of regret, you know, allowing them to be their own self-awareness. And that's only one of the experiments, and there are other things that we, you know, take you through that you can I don't know, have a play with. Because it is very self-directed. It's not step 1, step 2, step 3. It will depend on what happens for you. Because there's a sense that whatever that... It's like when you first start learning the difference between your intuitive voice and logic or whatever else you want to call that sense of direction. You know, that self-awareness, there's also this voice that will always be there, that kind of tells you what's happening. And it's about that self-awareness creating that space so that you can hear what's happening. And it's not necessarily in an explanation. It may be in another story, or it may be in a directive. It may tell you to take your shoes off or lay down or do your washing or talk to someone or eat some food or whatever it is. You know, that sense of what's happening is not always a cognitive process.
So that feels like a bit of a segue into next week's show, which is Permission to Be Powerful.
Oh yes.
And
which is just permission to be. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I feel like just in terms of where, with the people who are on the course with us, where they're at in terms of permission to celebrate.
Which is just about fascination. So in everything that occurs, whether it be an argument or a self-proration or a missing the bus or a promotion, it is about being fascinated.
I'm feeling so tired because you stayed up all night watching TV.
Yeah.
That's fascinating, Louise.
How can it be though?
I don't know, I'm just saying it's fascinating. You know, like there is I don't know, I binge watched some telly last night, even though I've got a lot of things to do, even though my list is long, even though I've got to go to school today, even though we've got the show in the morning, even though we've got things to record, even though, you know, the to-do list feels very, I should have been doing something else. I don't know, it is that thing of giving yourself permission. And not, you know, the usual, whatever, the thing would be to berate yourself and go, I shouldn't have done that, I should have gone to sleep earlier, then I would have been more alert for the team, I would have been a bit more, you know, like, and I would have been packed and I would have sort of, you know, if only, and there is this sense that most people are walking around through the day with their head furrowed and, you know, every time they stop, it's like, what did I get wrong? You know, like, it is almost like this just self-flagellation. What did I get wrong? Where did I go wrong this time? Why am I feeling like this? I must have done something wrong to be feeling like this. There must be some way I can stop myself feeling like this now, that I can do penance. And it does feel very much like a do penance, self-flagellation. If I just atone for my sins long enough, I will get the nirvana at the other side. And even I don't know, I just feel like so many of us are caught in that paradigm of if we, you know, to fix it, we have to atone, we have to figure it out. And even in the, you know, psychoanalysts or whatever, you know, tapping or the trying to clear things, there's a sense of I have to put myself back through the pain to figure it out. Just feels like a real penance kind of reality. I'm not sure. Just in terms of celebration.
Well, I guess
if you just take that off the top of your daily self-awareness.
there is a sense that
Not take it off, but be aware that that's what you're doing. Like in all your, I don't know, prostrations and efforts and trying to figure it out. You know, it is you doing your penance for the universe. Well, okay, that's me doing my penance for the universe, people. If I just frown a little bit harder, God will see that I've made amends. I think I've been watching too much Vikings.
I think there's also a sense of gratitude. So say when, say, you know, the washing line is so high, I have to be on tippy toes when I put things out there. And instead of, I mean, I can wind it down. But my first instinct is to be grateful. And I stand on tippy toes and I can feel my rib cage spreading and I can feel all my, you know, body stretching. And I just engage the world as it is. And there's a sense, an instant sense of whatever is not there, the rest of the picture becomes visible, and it's a visible gratitude for what is there. I think there is a sense in heart alchemy that, I mean, that you can change. You can wind the washing machine down. There's no, you don't have to do things and just accept the way that they are. If you can wind the thing down, it's not about putting up with things.
Can you just say that again for people though? Like something about the clarity for them about going out into the world today and really being with a sense of celebration, no matter what is, no matter what it, you know, like, oh my God, I'm tired, I should have done it differently.
Yeah, but that's already got a story in it. So what I'm saying is that when I meet the washing line and I'm on tippy toes, I don't have a story about how that's terrible. My first instinct is to go, oh, look, I'm stretching, and tune into what my body does when it's stretching. And so I can feel what is happening, what I am doing.
But if the loudest point for people is that furrowed brow, is that, oh my God, what have I done wrong again? How did I get to this place where I'm wrong again?
Then that's about
painful,
self-awareness.
I'm suffering again, I'm in the corner crying again.
Then that's about self-awareness.
In order to feel a sense of permission to celebrate that.
No, that's about self-awareness. So it's not about changing it. If that is the loudest point, it's the loudest point for a reason. It's asking you to become self-aware of a story that's playing that gets you what you want. So there's no trick to going and seeing it, you know, in a way that you're enjoying it. But the thing is to go, this is the story that's playing. I'm just going to allow and be self-aware of the story that's playing. You know, there is a sense of it must be here for a reason. And
so even that sense
it's a self-directed conversation. It's not kind of about someone else coming in and processing you.
But I feel like that's what I'm always doing, is I'm always coming in and trying to process me. Like, you know, even that sense of I've woken up, I feel like shit, I've got a furrowed brow, I've watched too much TV, whatever it is. You know, I'm in the traffic jam again. I don't want to be stressed about this. I don't want to be put under the bullet. I don't want to be, you know.
And you become self-aware of that and go, oh, look, here I am. Not wanting peace.
Yeah.
Just let yourself have that. Yeah. Just let that be where you are. Because nothing lasts very long.
I'm still just going for those people who feel like, but I am on a journey, I'm transforming.
Yeah,
It feels like that's the loud, like, it feels like they're going yes, but I want the furrow to go away. I don't want to be this shitty person all the time. I don't want to be the one who yells at my kids. I want this furrow to go away. Like,
Yeah.
I've got a self-awareness that I've got the furrow and this is the story I'm telling about it. And I'm in duality and I'm trying to change it. But I don't want to be the person in duality anymore. I don't want to be the person trying to change it. I want to accept it. But it feels like there's still quite a fight. You know, like for a lot of people, there's still quite a fight with themselves about allowing themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, so then you move into what it takes for self-acceptance. But without that awareness, the self-acceptance can't even begin. There has to be a sense of, I can see what's playing, I can see what I'm doing, I can see the story. The story and the perceptual biases all have to be visible. And then it's a natural, okay, so now I want to be able to accept and acknowledge that these things are in place for a reason. And that's that natural extension of self-awareness, which is self-acceptance, which is huge. You know, that whole self-acceptance is, it's playing, and it's playing for a reason. There's no, I need to change it. There's no, you know, it could be better, or it's responsible for all the things that are wrong in my life, or, you know, whatever the other things that are going on. That sense of allowing in self-awareness naturally is self-acceptance. So then that self-acceptance is, I am for a reason. You know, there's a lot of ways to explore that self-acceptance, but it will depend on, it will depend on where you find yourself. So whatever has come up in that self-awareness will determine what your self-acceptance looks like. You know, if it is about these things are important and I don't want to let go of them, then the self-acceptance will be based on them. You know, and there will be, you know, the self-acceptance will have to be mediated by whatever the self-awareness experience was. And then, you know, a natural part of the self-acceptance, which is not, they're not separate things. It is that conversation with the cosmos. In every moment you are having that conversation. We call it self-awareness, we call it self-acceptance, we call it gratitude, we call it choice, we call it allowing, but it's all the same thing. It's all the conversation. There's no way to say this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. But they will, having someone talk about it in a particular way will let you have an experience of it in a particular way, and then it will become self-directed, if that's true for you. You know, there is a sense that it has to feel true. You have to feel pulled to it. Even if you argue with it in your head, you have to feel pulled to it. If you keep coming back to it, even though you're arguing it in your head, I mean, that's part of your perceptual biases. Those arguments in your head are trying to keep the things in place. But that pull that you have when you come back to the experience, you come back to the explanation, you come back to the perfect present and the heart alchemy cosmology, you keep coming back to it because you know that there's something in there. You know that you want to have that experience, and you have a choice. Like the whole idea of these things that are in place is that in your conversation with the cosmos, you have a choice. So, you know, these experiences in the perfect present allow you to play, you know, become self-aware, understand that story in a different way, understand that argument in your head a different way.
understand the things happening in your life and your relationships and your goals and your sense of who you are and the things that you think are upsetting you. You understand them in a different way. And it's not that you have to adopt that for the rest of your life. You just get to play in that cosmology for as long as you want. And if it, you know, if you have some self-directed process because someone's talking you through the ideas, then that's what you have. And if you don't, you don't. It's not, but at least you've explored the cosmology and you've had a chance to play.
Yay! More play.
Mm.
All right. Wow.
Is that the furrowed brow?
Action to celebrate. So I put a very picture face. But that is time, people.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a siren going. It's time.
Okay.
Airplanes going overhead. Alarms going off. People sending messages. The universe is calling.
Okay. Universe is calling. What did it say?
You have permission to celebrate.
Fabulous.
Fabulous. All right, chickas. Anything else? Any last minute
Well, I'm just going,
celebrations?
there's something about when you do the perfect present, you'll have us. You know, there's a sense of we'll be talking to you with whatever's coming up. And when, you know, when we say that process of allowing the, you know, whatever it is that we're, the concepts that we run by you, and we say it's all self-directed and you'll know what to do. You know, you will still have us and all the material, and we'll be doing it over and over and over again in different ways. And there's stories and meditations, and there's a lot of material in different languages for you to have that experience, to play in that cosmology. It's not like we're going to just explain it to you and go, get it? And you'll also have I'm not sure if it's a live call or a recorded call every week. I think we're going to make that decision today, I guess.
I just think there's that sense of there's no desperation in there. It's like when I'm talking to the kids about learning juggling. It's like, you will get it. You will get it. If you want to get it, you'll get it. Well,
Yeah.
I need to go.
Yeah.
See you later, alligators.
See you next week.
Have fun.